Open your phone right now, and you are immediately bombarded by promises of instant success. 10-step morning routines, psychological tricks to project confidence, shortcuts to double your productivity before 8 a.m. We run on this treadmill, optimizing every minute, yet end up exhausted while feeling like we haven't actually moved forward. In 1989, author Stephen Covey gave this surface-level obsession a name: the personality ethic. This system prioritizes how you appear to the world over who you actually are, which almost always ends in burnout. Covey argued that the obsession with image was a modern mistake. His alternative, detailed in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, requires abandoning the hacks entirely and building your life from the inside out. He called this the character ethic. Instead of learning to fake it until you make it, you focus on core values: your integrity, your humility, and your courage. Real effectiveness requires a rigorous internal architecture. You cannot project a false image and expect lasting stability. You have to construct your life layer by careful layer, starting deep beneath the surface. The first layer is taking agency over your choices, which Covey labels Habit 1, be proactive. A reactive person blames the economy, their boss, or their upbringing when things go wrong. A proactive person looks at those same circumstances and asks, "What can I do about this?" This graphic maps out a timeline from a starting stimulus to a final response. Covey points out that human freedom exists in this exact gap. Whenever something happens to you, there is a fraction of a second before you react. In that space, you choose who you are going to be. Once you realize you have that choice, you need to know what to choose. Covey introduces Habit 2, begin with the end in mind, through a thought experiment. He asks you to imagine walking into a room, seeing a casket, and realizing it is your own funeral. What do you want the people in those chairs to say about you? It is common to spend your career aggressively climbing a ladder, only to reach the top and realize it leans against the wrong wall. A personal mission statement prevents this by forcing you to define your values on paper first. It serves as a constant orientation check, ensuring your current projects actually align with your long-term destination before you spend years climbing toward it. Having the power to choose your daily actions means nothing if you don't know where you are going. You have to author the blueprint before you pour the foundation. With the blueprint in hand, we hit the daily reality of time. Habit 3 is put first things first. We live in an era where everyone is constantly busy, answering emails at midnight and rushing between meetings. Yet we often end the week feeling like we accomplished very little of substance. Look at this chart mapping out the time management matrix. It categorizes every single action you take into a clean 2x2 grid, filtering your day by what is urgent and what is actually important. The majority of people are trapped in these 3 boxes. Box 1 is filled with screaming deadlines and crises. Box 3 is other people's interruptions. Box 4 is distraction, like scrolling social media. This is the urgency trap, consuming your energy while yielding zero long-term value. Highly effective individuals fiercely protect their time for this space right here, Box 2. These are tasks that are highly important but rarely urgent. Exercise, deep relationship building, and strategic planning live in this box. No one will ever fire you today for skipping a Box 2 activity, but skipping it ensures you will fail tomorrow. Escaping the constant noise of urgency is the only possible way to turn that internal blueprint into something tangible in the real world. Once you have control over yourself and your time, the architecture expands outward to other people. Habit 4 is think win-win. From early childhood sports to academic grading curves, we are conditioned to believe life is a zero-sum game, where someone has to lose for you to win. Operating with this default win-lose mentality damages relationships. If you constantly extract value from your partners or colleagues to benefit yourself, they eventually stop trusting you. The cooperation breaks down and the partnership collapses. Firm, authoritative strategy. Thinking win-win is a pragmatic strategy for survival. Seeking mutual benefit creates a cycle of reciprocity, where both parties remain incentivized to contribute. By ensuring your partner's needs are met alongside your own, you build a relationship that can sustain itself over years rather than weeks. Covey adds a crucial caveat to this rule. If you sit down at the table and cannot find a solution that genuinely benefits both sides, the most effective move is simply to walk away. He calls this no deal. In a deeply interconnected world, you cannot sustain success by leaving a trail of defeated opponents behind you. Genuine collaboration acts as a force multiplier for everything you do. You now have a functioning system, but it has a critical vulnerability. Any complex machine pushed to run at maximum capacity without routine maintenance will eventually tear itself apart. Covey illustrates this with the story of an exhausted woodcutter. He has been violently sawing at a massive tree for hours, making almost no progress. A bystander suggests he take a 5-minute break to sharpen his dull blade, and the woodcutter replies, "I don't have time to stop, I'm too busy sawing." We laugh at the woodcutter, but we do the exact same thing to ourselves. Habit 7 is sharpen the saw. It is the mandatory, non-negotiable practice of renewing your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health on a daily basis. It comes down to a basic law of physics and human energy. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. Scheduled self-renewal provides the baseline operational requirement to keep your entire life from collapsing under its own weight. Covey's framework functions as a comprehensive, interconnected way of being, rather than a collection of one-off productivity hacks. Its relevance has persisted for decades because it ignores quick fixes in favor of deep-seated growth. As Covey noted, paraphrasing the philosopher Aristotle, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Do not try to tear down and rebuild your entire life this afternoon. That's just another trap. Instead, pick exactly one habit from this architecture. Maybe it's auditing your time in the matrix or writing your mission statement, and start there. True effectiveness is a lifelong practice of internal mastery, and that mastery begins the moment you make your very first proactive choice today.